The streets of Nairobi were always alive, live, with noise, chaos, and endless struggle. Amid this, a little boy named Elijah scavenged through trash bins, looking not for toys or treats, but for anything he could eat that day. Life had not been kind to him. Orphaned at the age of 5, Elijah grew up knowing more about hunger than hope. He lived under a broken billboard with a few other boys like him. Most of the world walked past without even a glance. But Elijah noticed everything. He would lie on his back at night and stare at the stars, not because they were beautiful, but because he was curious. How are they up there? He used to whisper. Why do they shine? Even though he had no school, no books, and no teacher, Elijah's mind burned with questions. One day, while rummaging near a local university dumpster, Elijah found a torn physics textbook. The pages were wet and some were missing, but inside were pictures of stars, planets, atoms, and machines. Something in him lit up. He couldn't read all the words, but he could understand the diagrams. Every day he returned to that dumpster, hoping to find more pages. Sometimes he even sat outside the university, listening to lectures through open windows. He didn't understand everything, but he absorbed what he could, like a sponge. One day, a professor noticed him. Dr. Miriam Otieno was a physics lecturer with a sharp mind and an even sharper sense of compassion. She saw Elijah sitting outside in the dirt, sketching formulas on a cardboard box with charcoal. "Where did you learn that?" she asked. Elijah looked up nervously. "From your bin," he said honestly. She laughed, not out of mockery but amazement. Instead of shooing him away like others, Dr. Otieno brought him water, asked his name, and invited him to sit in the back of her class just for one day. That one day turned into many. Dr. Otieno pulled every string she could. She arranged for Elijah to take a basic literacy test. When he scored surprisingly high despite having no formal schooling, she helped him get a scholarship from a children's NGO for the first time in his life. Elijah held a pencil, sat at a real desk, and heard someone call his name from a register. He was a quick learner, often staying after school to ask more questions. He read everything he could get his hands on, from physics to chemistry to math. What he lacked in background, he made up for with raw hunger to learn. Elijah still lived in a shelter. There were days when food was short, nights when he was too cold to sleep, and moments when he felt he didn't belong among normal kids. But each time he felt like quitting, he remembered the stars and the dream that had started under a billboard. By the age of 17, he had completed his high school diploma with top honors. He applied for a science scholarship at the University of Cape Town and was accepted. At university, Elijah specialized in astrophysics. He spent nights in labs researching black holes and quantum theory, and days tutoring other students who were stunned by his talent. In his final year, he won an international competition for young scientists with a project that used data from radio telescopes to predict star formation patterns. His research was published in a European science journal. Soon offers poured in from around the world, but he never forgot where he came from. Instead of accepting a job in Europe or the US, Elijah chose to return to Kenya and work at a space research initiative in Nairobi. He began a program called Stars for Street Kids, a nonprofit aimed at bringing science education to underprivileged children. "I know what it's like to be invisible," he said during a TEDx talk. "But even invisible children have stars burning inside them. Someone just has to see the light." Today, Dr. Elijah Wekesa is now a world-renowned astrophysicist, featured in journals and invited to speak at global conferences. But if you ask him about his greatest achievement, he won't talk about awards. He'll tell you about the day one of his own students. Once a homeless child like him got accepted into university. He'll smile and say, "That's when I knew the cycle was broken." From cardboard beds to cosmic equations, from trash bins to telescopes, Elijah's story reminds us that talent has no address and hope needs just one chance to bloom. No matter how broken your beginning, you can still rise and shine brighter than the stars.